Welcome
We're
back.
back. As promised, we have our guest, Kristyn Roth, who is now the Chief Marketing Officer of the Autism Society of America. Hi,
And
Kristyn.
For having me.
We're thrilled that you're here, and we were looking at your resume and the many things that you have on your resume, and we were a little bit, stunned and overwhelmed because you've been able to do so many things, and we were expecting somebody who looked older than you. I must be honest, right? But you are the co-founder of Makewaves, that supports organizations focused on equal employment opportunities, replicable housing models, and social engagement programs that allow autistic individuals to achieve happy quality and lifestyle. You're the president of the Roth Family Foundation, which focuses on improving the quality of lives for individuals with neurological and physical challenges. But that's not even all, but that in and of itself is pretty amazing. And now you're stepping into this new role and making waves, not to put too fine of a point on it. So thank you for being in our community. Thank you for being so involved and being a force for good. And we're excited that you're in this role at Autism Society of America and all the things you're going to do there. One of the reasons why we asked you to come on was to talk about Autfest, and we're going to do more shows as it comes up closer, but tell us what Autfest is like this year.
Yes. So Autfest Film Festival is hosted by Autism Society. It's our third annual. This year we have a one-day format as opposed to previous years, which was two. It's on September 15th, 2019 at AMC Orange 30 in Orange, California. And I'm really excited because this year we're focusing on autism and the sibling dynamic, and we're really focused on exploring that relationship as well as autism in the whole entire family unit as well. So all of our films will be dedicated to different talking points and experiences within that topic, and there will be a sibling point that makes its way throughout every feature.
Which is something you come from naturally because you have a brother on the spectrum who inspires you to do the work you're doing?
Yes. So my brother and I, he's a year younger than I am.
Okay.
We've been very close my whole life. He is my reason for being involved in all aspects of this work, and he's just inspired me every single day. He right now he actually just moved to a different city to go through a independent living transition program, and we're so proud of him and excited for the future, and he's really just proven he's capable of so much, and we want to support him in every way possible to succeed.
I have this theory that people who are siblings of people on the autism spectrum are the best people on earth. Honestly, because they know and appreciate these wonderful people. They understand what it is to sometimes look at something and go, right now it needs to be about me, and right now it doesn't need to be about me. They have the biggest heart. Honestly, whenever I meet somebody who identifies themselves as a sibling, and I don't think it's just autism.
Right.
I think it's, you're a sibling.
With the brother with Down syndrome.
Yeah. And so I have this theory that is that shapes people up to be the most incredible people. You're living up to my supposition here. So tell us a little bit about, have the films been chosen yet for Autfest, or can people still apply? What's the process at this point?
So the films have already been chosen for 2019. Each year we open up for submissions, and anyone can apply and submit their film. So we'll go through a screening process. We have an Autfest film committee that views all the films and votes on their favorites and making sure they're tying into our theme. So you can actually see the schedule of films that will be featured at our website, autfestasa.com. And we have a really great variety of feature films as well as shorts and independents. So I'm really excited about the lineup this year.
I gotta say, one of my favorite films last year was a short film that was about, from the point of view of a sibling, and it was just like, had us all on the floor. We loved it so much. So
yeah, I think what's really important too is that we're showing not only different angles of the spectrum, but also different experiences and upbringings. And I think we have a really good, diverse character group that's going to be displayed. So I'm really excited about a couple.
Tell us, which
yes.
ones are you
Tell us,
excited
tell us
about?
some
Yeah.
of them.
I am really excited about Duke, which is a short, and I think it's about 16 minutes. It's about an individual who is nonverbal, and the story of his mother really advocating for him in the school system to get services and support, and his ability to find his own voice.
Okay.
So it's really powerful. Some other films we have featured this year are White Frog, Life Animated, Everything's Gonna Be Okay, which is through Freeform, and that's a new show that's coming in later this year. So a lot of great stuff on the agenda.
I can't wait to see all this. It's going to be
Yes.
really exciting. And then you've got a couple of panels too, where people can be there for talk back with some of the people in the films.
Yeah.
Yeah. And siblings. You're doing a sibling panel
Yes.
where it will be people who aren't necessarily featured in the film but have experience with this. Will you be one of the people on the panel talking about being a sibling?
I will. So we have two panels. The first is the sibling panel, as you mentioned, and we're really going to be talking about what it means to be a sibling of someone with autism. And then the second panel will feature some actors and writers and directors from some of the films that we're showcasing and talk about character development, the research that went into writing these scripts, and really being authentic for our community.
What do you think is the thing that you have gotten the most out of that has helped you in your life by being a sibling?
There's so much.
Yeah.
I mean, my brother has made me a better person, hands down. He's taught me empathy and how to really look at things with a different perspective and be appreciative of everything. But I think what has really helped me as I've gotten older is having a network of other siblings that I can reach out to and ask questions and really have honest conversations with that might not feel right to talk to a parent about it, or even a best friend who may not be able to relate. So having that network of support, even if you don't necessarily know that person very well, you have such a unique bond that you're able to really connect on another level.
I'm curious, how did you get in contact with those people? Was it through Autism Society that you found those other people?
So a couple different places, but for me, that was part of what I wanted to really focus on through Make Waves was exploring the sibling relationship and kind of creating this online community that people can tap into and share their own stories and reach out to. I also have met people through events, through conferences, and of course Autism Society. We have a really diverse staff in-house, and a lot of us are actually siblings or individuals on the spectrum. So it's been really fun to not only connect and work with these people, but also be able to ask questions and relate in that way as well.
What are some of the experiences that you've been through with your brother that have helped you in terms of just dealing with life?
That's a good question. So I think there's a couple stories that come to mind. I'll try to be brief, but whenever we travel somewhere, whether it's for work or events like this or family vacations growing up, my brother always made a lasting impression on people.
Right.
And one story that comes to mind is when we were traveling, we walked on the plane and this flight attendant turned around and goes, "Derek, oh my gosh, how are you? It's so great to see you." And, he's being, catered to the entire flight. And I overheard her say to another flight attendant, "Derek has flown this route before. He makes my week." And that was such a powerful moment to overhear. And for me, it was such a reminder that everyone has the ability to make an impact in the world around them, in their community, in their society. And they just need the right support and opportunity to do so.
Right.
And that's something that I think has been with me my whole life, but something that really stood out as I got older and wanted to work in this community to help make that difference.
That's wonderful. So you got me all choked up. I'm just like, ah. But now you're in this new role with Autism Society, and how new of a role is this for you?
2.5 months, 3 months.
So
Okay, very
very, very new.
Yeah.
But what are you excited about? What are the projects that you're like, this is how I want to put my mark on this and help autism and the Autism Society of America?
Yeah, it's been a really exciting opportunity for me and busy couple months getting started here. But I think what's amazing is the impact that the Autism Society has. We have 79 affiliates across the country that really tap into the local market at, the community and state level, and they're executing our mission and vision so that we can reach more people. And we are really looking to create that unified voice across our network, and that's where I come in as marketing and communications, is how can we effectively tell our story and make sure that, all of these people that we're helping every year are, lifted up and supported, and people can recognize that. So part of my upcoming task is really furthering our brand development and our brand voice. Last year alone, we helped over 620,000 individuals across the country, which is a staggering number. And we're really working just towards providing more advocacy, education materials and resources, and supporting as many people as possible.
Well, you're like in fact, the oldest organization
Yes.
For autism, and I think the biggest in terms of members as well. But a lot of times you guys are the unsung hero of the piece, right? A lot of other organizations get a lot more attention. But so now you're coming into this role, you can try to flip that script a little bit. I wish you great luck in that, because it is an amazing organization doing amazing things. I've only been to a couple of the conferences, but I always say to people, if you want to meet people who are on the autism spectrum, the place where more self-advocates and individuals who are on the spectrum are than any place I've ever been are at an Autism Society of America conference. There are more voices heard at those conferences. There's the parents,
Right.
and then there's the people who are treating, and I've seen educators there, and of course the people who are themselves on the spectrum. And we all know, they have to be the largest voice in this, right? But I truly see that at the Autism Society of America.
Yeah.
Tell us how people can find out more about Autfest.
Yes, so you can go to the website, autfestasa.com. We have our schedule of events, of films being featured, our panel information, and a link to buy tickets.
Okay, sounds good.
What I'd like to do, if it's okay with you, I'd like to go to a break and then come back and maybe give you a couple of minutes to talk about your other organization, Make Waves, and tell a little bit more about that.
Sure.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back after these messages.
And we are back now with Kristyn Roth, who is now the Chief Marketing Officer of the Autism Society of America. And she's been filling us in on Autfest and what's going to be coming up there. And we wanted to talk a little bit about your co-founder of Make Waves, which is another nonprofit. We wanted to talk to you a little bit about that and what the goals of that organization are.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started it a couple of years ago, and it actually started off as a standalone fundraising campaign for Autism Awareness Month. And it quickly snowballed, and I realized that a lot of millennials wanted to get involved in something, and they just didn't know how. So I worked to turn it into a true nonprofit,
Right.
and focused on events, advocacy, and our main mission is to support organizations that are creating replicable housing and employment programs, primarily for individuals on the spectrum. And we want to support people that are doing it right. We don't want to recreate the wheel, so we're not doing it ourselves, but we're identifying companies or organizations throughout the country that are really focused on addressing this major issue.
And have you found there are a lot of such organizations, or is there a shortage of them?
There's definitely a shortage. You know, we all know all the horrible statistics of statewide waiting lists for housing and, you know, even finding a good one and finding one that's local. I think that's the biggest thing is there aren't a lot of options. There are some companies and organizations that are really doing a great job, and I think it's just figuring out how do we scale this? How do we make it more accessible and affordable in different communities across the country? And so we're, you know, constantly traveling and doing site visits and meeting with people who are working towards that goal.
Wonderful. And so do these organizations apply for a grant? Is that what happens, or how does the interface happen?
So we have, in the past, because we're still fairly new, we haven't set up a formal grant application process. It's more been one-to-one vetting and kind of going through the process with the team internally. But we've set up scholarships in the past for individuals to attend, you know, independent living transition programs. We have an ongoing scholarship each year with first place in Phoenix, Arizona. And we also have identified other places across the country that have employment programs or, again, independent living skills that they're dedicated to.
And this is something that you have a personal connection to, again, because of your brother, right? Isn't he transitioning to housing?
Yes. So he moved out of my parents' house about 3 years ago, and he was getting some independent living skills, but now he's in a program that will really teach him a formal curriculum that will allow him to hopefully live on his own in whatever city he chooses. He has had a steady job since he graduated high school and went to community college, and he has been working, but I fear that in past jobs, he's definitely been underemployed, and it's helping him build primarily communication skills and advocacy skills for him to be able to figure out what he wants to do.
Wonderful. Okay. And where can people find more information about Make Waves?
They can visit our website, makewaves.blue, and we have some great sibling content up there, a sibling series video, and information on some of the organizations that we've supported throughout the years.
Wonderful. And so in your new role at Autism Society of America, coming from this point of view, from this perspective as a sibling, already Autfest is going to center on this topic for this year. Can we expect to see some more programs and support for siblings to be able to better be cohesive with their siblings? And I would imagine, as a sibling, that part of the stress as an adult would be worrying about what does the rest of their life look like, and how much support do they need from me, and how much of that is financial, and how much of that is time. Right. I mean, your friends who don't have siblings that have to deal with that, they're not thinking in terms of that, but I would imagine that takes up some disk space for you.
Yeah, and I think it's important for me to recognize this is my experience. Yeah. So I can only speak to my own knowledge, and it's very much my normal. So this is all I know. This is all I've grown up with. But I think there is that overall, realization for siblings that you're trying to figure out your own life and how to be an adult and figure out, what your career path is, what you want to do. And you want the same things for your brother or sister, and it's how can you accept that responsibility and move forward with it, and also still be that sibling. It's kind of balancing that sibling and parent aspect of the relationship. So.
Is this something that your parents have talked with you about? Because I know siblings who say, that at some point there was a conversation about when we're gone, it will be your expectation to either do this or not do this. Have you guys had that conversation?
So I actually asked my mom this recently because I don't remember having a serious sit-down conversation, about my responsibilities as a sibling. But she said that at a very early age, they were always open and honest and kept me in the loop about my brother Derek and everything that we wanted for him and his life. So she said that I accepted it at a very early age. And we, you know, I'm very fortunate that I grew up in such an open and supportive, loving family. So I don't know how my parents did it all. I definitely give them a lot of credit. But it was something that I was just always knew about and accepted. And I think that really helped form my opinion and involvement throughout his life, because it was something that we always discussed. It wasn't something that was hidden or ignored or, you know, saved till
Or
later.
stigmatized even, it sounds
Right.
like.
Right. I mean, it was the early 90s where, you know, we didn't really use the word autism back then. You know, it was more special needs. And then as we, as our community and the parents at that time really brought it to light in a mainstream way, which is amazing. But I always knew that he had special needs, and that that was fine. It didn't make me love him any more or any less. I loved him as much as possible, regardless. So,
Which is a great gift for him. I'm sure your parents are very proud of you, because you're a very good sibling. Let's go over some of the websites again so that
Yes.
people know where to get information. So if they just want to know more about the Autism Society of America, where should they go?
so autism-society.org. We have amazing resources, information and support services. Anything that you can think of, you can find on our website.
Wonderful.
And then for Autfest Film Festival, autfestasa.com
Okay.
has all of the schedule, ticket information. And lastly, for myself, makewaves.blue.
Okay. And when people are coming to the Autfest, I imagine, is it the same thing where they can buy a ticket to one movie, or they can buy a ticket to be able to see all the movies? It's like that?
So it's actually just one ticket, and it's right now our early bird ticket special is $10 for the entire day.
Oh
what a
my
deal.
gosh.
Yeah.
What a
So
great deal.
We
Great
really
deal.
wanted everyone who was close and wanted to come have the opportunity to
Right.
All
come.
right, but that's for right now early bird, so it
Yes.
could go up, so get your tickets now. And
Yes,
that's on
definitely.
September 15th.
Yep.
Right around the corner.
Yes, and I will be there. So thank you
Good.
so much for being
Yes,
here.
Thank you for
Kristen,
having
thank you.
me.
You're a remarkable young woman.
Hey, thanks for watching Autism Live. To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.